That's fine.
What are all those medals?
I'll never tell. At least not while the sun's shining.
Hey, crotch rot. I'm gonna slurp my lifer's juice out of my own cup.
Yeah, I guess I should have gotten shots beforehand.
I don't know what it is about that video clip, man. A crotch rot. Some of the things we say to each other in the military is ridiculous. Brutal. It's like, I told you, for years, one of my best friends, we served, and he would say, he would call me F-face. I'm not going to say the word because I'm trying to clean up the show. Even though this is a military themed show, I don't want to start the show off with dirty language. But he would call me F-face, and then one day he slipped up and called me that in front of my daughter. And I always responded to it. And, and my daughter like leaned into me and was like, "Why does he call you that, Dad?" And I just laughed. I said, because I screwed up one day. He called me that, and I turned and responded to him, and it stuck ever since. Basically, fact face is what he called me. And he still calls me that to this day. Good morning, Bush McFadden. Hopefully this will be a good stream for you. Alex Moore is here. Who else? Andy Morrow from the UK is here. Starting out slow but cool. We got some cool kids in the house. Cool kids with the cool kids at high school. Hey, man. Good morning, Monkey Jeebus. How are you? Goodness gracious. John, how are you doing today? How was your weekend?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, managed to break my toe over the weekend.
Yeah, I saw that, dude. I commented on it going, dude, I've done it twice now. Broken my big toe, broke it twice. No, and then I broke my pinky toe on my right foot.
Yeah, this is my pinky toe.
Tore the nail off the pinky toe. The nail came completely off when I broke it. And I'm just telling you, dude, my heart goes out to you. There's nothing you can really do about it. Just endure it.
Yep.
They ask you to leave it alone. Immobilize if you can. Yes, Monkey Jibus, that is correct. And it's Mac, the guy who does the audio warning, which I guess I could play. I guess I can play that right now. Should I play the warning? Because even though I'm the only veteran here,
yeah,
there's going to be veteran talk, and I'm going to say things that are probably inappropriate. Not to mention, things within the movie that are said that are clearly in bad taste and inappropriate.
And we all like to cuss, so play it.
Yeah. So.
Warning. The following program involves discussions between military veterans.
Just one.
As such, it is almost guaranteed that there will be coarse language and crude subject matter. So if the words piss, fuck, cock, cunt, and shit offend you, or if openly discussing that one time you were butt-fucking your ex-girlfriend and her miniature pincher jumped up on the bed and started licking your asshole until you had the best orgasm of your life makes you uncomfortable, this might not be the place for you. Otherwise, enjoy.
Yeah, maybe we should go with the clean version.
Yeah.
Well, you had your chance. You had your chance.
I just assumed you were going to do the clean version.
Why?
Never. Really, you would assume. When we'd been told never assume anything.
Yeah, but you just said that you were trying to clean up the show. And
I know, but you guys said go ahead and use it. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, clean up the show,
You
but
see that
not
look
on
of
Monday
resolve
or
on my
Wednesday.
face. When you see the look of resolve on my face, okay.
Oh my goodness.
So don't assume anything. You make an ass out of you and me. I'm just saying. Danny's in the. Hey, Danny. Need a new headshot from you, dude. That's more in line with what we do here. I got to talk to Brian about his headshot because I got to get these graphics done in the next day. So I need that stuff from you and from Brian. I need a wee photo from Brian.
I thought you had one for Brian.
No, I made one from a photo of him. I
know.
Put the mug in front of him. It's fake. I need a real one. And not to mention, Monkey Jeeves doesn't think it's a cool photo. He's like, that's kind of like a nerd.
So?
I don't remember what you said, Jeeves, but it was funny when you said it. And you guys wouldn't know what he's talking about because actually Monkey Jeeves and I talk privately all the time, and he was talking to me. Brian looks like a dork. That was it, dork. Okay, I'm not going to fucking say this to you again, Danny. I need a different headshot that matches with the rest of our photos. That looks like it belongs. That looks like it's part of us. It needs to be fun, not looking off in the distance like you're plotting your future, but instead looking at the audience, going, hey, this is a fun show. I'm a fun guy. There you go, buddy. That's
Two wild and crazy guys.
Oh my.
Your suit was from the dummy you had, and you were butt naked? This is me, Gerry. I don't know what he's talking about. What are we talking about here? What's he talking about? Wait a minute. What's this one? Whoever read this played Cards Against Humanity. Oh, Mac and I played them. Oh, dude, I love Cards Against Humanity. I don't like most card games other than classic card games. Like I like rummy, gin rummy. I like poker. I like blackjack. But good grief. Yeah. Mac is actually one of the calmest guys you'll ever meet. But he's also one of the funniest. And he's just I've known that guy for so long. And he will just get me laughing to where I can't breathe. You know, I don't know if you've ever had a friend like that. He's that guy. He will get me laughing so hard that I'll start to black out because I'm laughing and can't breathe. And that is Mac. He sent that to me at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. He was drunk. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. And I like to play card games like blackjack. There you go. But anyway, we're going to be talking about a great film today. My boss worked on it. There are some technical issues in the film.
He was in it. He didn't just.
He's in it too.
He's in it.
Yeah, he's in the movie. He plays one of the officers, the command officers in the film.
General Perry.
And this is a good film about Marines, but there are a lot of little technical issues in the film that I've seen pointed out by people. The hat that the captain is wearing. By the way, that's Tackleberry from the Police Academy films. That plays the captain of that aircraft carrier. He's wearing the wrong hat. On top of that, something that Anima brought up is those are smoke grenades, but they're in the wrong position. He's got them on his primary shoulder. You don't do that. You don't put the grenades on the same shoulder you shoulder your weapon with. You put them on the opposing shoulder. That was a screw up. Gosh, it's one of the scenes that's always bothered me, and I've always wanted to ask Dale about it, is why, when you hear the firefight in the distance, because they're split up in the Vietnam War scene, why they just stop. You wouldn't just stop. You would take up positions. The minute you hear the firefight, you would react. And he doesn't have him react. And I'm sure it was in James Webb's script in there, so he did the best he could, because Dale does. Dale is pigeonholed a lot of the times with things that are in films. And his face on it. God, that's funny, Monkey. But there's all these other little things that are caught. Oh, one of them is, and I showed this to Anima, is that the Chinooks that are used in the film are the wrong Chinooks. Those are Army Chinooks. the 46s. They should be using the 47, flying off the Navy ship. It's a more narrow Chinook. There are little tiny things in the film, but to be honest with you, overall,
Also,
it's a very good film.
the
The
bridge-
guys.
The bridge looks like a submarine, not a carrier bridge. So
Yeah, the bridge looked weird. Look, I'm not Navy, but that threw me off. But anyway, another thing I noticed was when they show the scene and they're firing from the embassy down into the crowd, the saw gunner, that's not a saw he's firing. It's a Korean machine gun. And I'm like, what the hell is, what? Now, look, the U.S. Marine Corps are the redheaded stepchild of the military. They are one of the most effective spear branches of the military, but they constantly get hand-me-downs. They're always getting the shit into the stick when it came to gear. But you will never see a U.S. Marine carrying a Korean machine gun. And I'm like, how did that happen? And I know they tried to hide it in the smoke and debris, but it is obviously a Korean machine gun and not the American saw. What is this? Mikey versus Monkey trial upcoming on Record Law after the Murtaugh. Okay, we should. Is this going to be pay-per-view?
Well, shouldn't it be, if it's Vietnam, shouldn't it be 19...
Vietnam! I'm sorry.
Isn't it the M60, not the saw?
It's not Vietnam. Okay, there are two things. The opening scene is in Vietnam. The rest of the story takes place around when the film is taking place.
Yeah.
The film was shot around 2000, and the story is supposed to be taking place around that period. But, you know, what I've found with nitpickers, you can find anything. You can have like the best war film and still find stuff that's wrong with it. You're always going to, because it's not real war. It's not the real military. It's a movie. And you don't always have everything you like when you're making a film. This is something I used to tell my dad. I get irritated with him. Glenn Fleming, good morning, my friend. Another friend of ours from the UK. So one of the biggest complaints my dad had was towards Clint Eastwood's Josie Wales. Okay. And the big confrontation at the end, the height of the sun in the scene changes constantly throughout the scene because it was clearly shot at different times of the day. So shadows went in different directions. And this frustrated my dad, who is about as anal retentive as you get. And I would just tell him, I said, look, man, that was shot out of pocket. A lot of those scenes, in fact, that third act was shot out of pocket, Clint Eastwood's pocket. So he needed to get in and get out. So you need to forgive that. It's not my dad. He bitched about that till he died. So I hope everybody had a good weekend. How was your weekend, Martin?
Oh, it was absolutely excellent.
Girls kick your ass bowling again?
No.
You'll never let that one go.
No.
It's too good.
Bush McFadden, he killed a Korean? No, Bush. No. It's not what I said. I said he took the Korean's gun after he killed him. That's not what I said. I'd ask Anima how her weekend went, but I spent most of the weekend with her, so it doesn't really matter.
That's true.
You're just
So how awesome was it hanging out with me all weekend?
It was okay.
It was okay.
And she's been generous.
I can tolerate you.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I introduced her to a new show this weekend because I keep doing that with her. And I think she's glad because this is a really good show. It's called Shrinking.
It's so funny.
Harrison Ford has returned to TV the first time in 50 years. And it's kind of neat having him back on TV. He's on 1923, which is a great show.
I love it.
I actually do think that it's better in so many ways than even Yellowstone. What do you were saying something about that too, weren't you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yellowstone is amazing, but 1923 is even better.
But I cannot believe that the characters are so amazing in
The two females,
1923.
I love them. The old lady, Helen Mirren's character, and
Helen
the one
Mirren,
and the one who ran away in Africa.
Yeah,
They
she's
are
not even
so
English.
good.
It's like that surprised even people from England. They're like, she's not English.
That was a shock when you told me. She's not British.
Yeah, she's American.
She's doing the accent so perfectly.
Yeah. And you find that every once in a while. You'll find, English, Australian, New Zealand, Irish guys that can do really good American accents. Specifically, they handle New York and Southern really well, or Midwestern. They can get those accents. They have trouble with the neutral accents like mine. House, I forget his name, played House.
Hugh Laurie.
Hugh Laurie nailed an American neutral accent.
I was so surprised when I found out that he's not American.
Well, what's really funny is I'm watching it going, God, he looks like that dude from Blackadder. Wow. And I was really like, well, he really does look like that. And then I found out it is him. And I'm like, he's English. Oh, shit. Nailed it.
And then I found out he's a musician. And I was blown away.
Oh, yeah. Well, one thing that I have a problem with people when they try to do, from other countries, try to do American accents, is they tend to get nasally when they do it.
Bush,
really
no, not her, the young one.
No, the young girl. Yeah, she's not British. The one that's with Spencer. Spencer Dutton. I was a doctor and a cop on House.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, that's right. You were an extra. That's right.
Dr. Cop. Dr. Cop.
Dr. Cop.
Officer Doctor.
Officer Doctor. Doctor Officer. That's almost as bad as the foster parents I had when I was 6 years old. They were both professors at the Eastern Illinois University, and they were husband and wife, and their name was Doctor, and they were both doctors. So it was Doctor, and Doctor. They were real people. They were really nice. But the show Shrinking has Jason Segel in it, who's great. I find that guy hilarious. Krista Miller from Scrubs and Drew Carey's show is on it. And of course, Harrison Ford. You got.
Is she the one with the creepy face?
Well, yeah, you think it's creepy. It is weird.
It is.
Her surgery did not go well. She had the surgery when she was making Scrubs. She got paranoid about her career, is what it was, and went and did that, and it really changed her looks. And a lot of people are like kind of freaked out by it, but I'll show it real quick here. You got that Lakita Maxwell. She's actually really good as Siegel's daughter. And then Jessica Williams, man, she plays Gabby. Absolutely the shining star of the show. I love her character. I absolutely love her character. But the outstanding star who really doesn't do much of anything, and Luke Tinney is really good as Sean. He's a combat veteran that's suffering from aggression from post-traumatic stress. But Ted McGinley, dude, that plays Derek, he's not even significant to the stories. He's like a satellite character, just pops in and out and just says the funniest shit in the show. And it's usually because his wife is gonna, who's played by Krista Miller, is gonna ignore him. And Taco Tuesday. Is there any point to me even showing up on Taco Tuesday? She's not. Don't be there.
By the way, Ted McGinley in that picture looks like Bruce Campbell on Fuel Up.
Yeah. I think one of the funniest moments with him on the show is when Siegel walks out there and has a conversation. They're on their decks, their neighbors, and McGinley is like pissing off the porch. Just the conversation between them, and then he turns to leave, and he says, "Yeah, it was just you and me, just having a good time." And he goes, "You know, you had to make it weird by winking." And then he just smiles at him and leaves. I love this show. I think it's really good. And I introduced Anima to it this weekend, so we binged and watched almost every episode. And she's hooked already. Hey, Veritax is here. What's up, man? Anybody else pop in while I wasn't looking?
Yeah, I stayed up way too late.
Master Shadow Dragon. Yeah, she stayed up till 3 o'clock watching TV
Yeah,
with
because
me.
we were like, one more episode, one more. Come on. Terrible.
The show is doomed. Ted McGinley is in it. Look, I got to tell you, he got a few years on Married with Children. But the show Happy Days was dying when he joined it. It was already dying. It was on its way out. But he actually got some time in there with the other show. McGinley, best known for, I think it was Revenge of the Nerds, right? Wasn't he in Revenge of the Nerds?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he was.
I think he was the stud in Revenge of the Nerds. Him and, what's his name? Ogre were the two. Yeah, Revenge of the Nerds, 1984. Yeah.
That was Ogre?
No, he wasn't Ogre. He was the preppy looking dude.
Yeah.
The good looking guy that the nerd steals the girl away from in the end. But yeah, I like Ted McGinley. I think he's funny. And he's great in this show. His character, it's like he sees they're having an argument. The neighbors are having an argument with this one Karen. And he's like, talking to everybody. So he's driving by, he stops and says something. Then he looks at the Karen. He says, "Morning, Karen." And his wife goes, "No, we don't say hello, Karen. We hate Karen." He goes, "Oh, sorry. Eat a dick, Karen," and then drives away. He says it in such a friendly way. It's funny as hell. Eat a dick, Karen. I also stayed up too late last night trying to get to the end of chapter of a game, and when I looked, it was 1:30. I'm lucky if I go to bed by 2. Yeah, I'm lucky if I go to bed by 2. I'm trying to get my circadian rhythms back to normal. Because here's what a lot of people don't know is like there are slots during an evening, and like everybody's on this rhythm. It's like I don't know if it's the earth that does this or what, but if you are like artists or creative people, our peak hours of creativity is between 11 at night and 3 in the morning. But experts say that that's bad because you've interrupted those rhythms. And you will get more of the dreaming sleep rather than the deep sleep. And your body and brain needs the deeper sleep. And you will interrupt that by going to bed around 3 o'clock. So all jocks think about is nerds. All nerds. Oh, yeah. Yep. That's a great line. That's my pie. His girlfriend shows up in the whipped cream pie. Yeah, circadian rhythms. And apparently, from the research that I've read, is that the circadian rhythm isn't just specific to each person. They're rhythms that if you alter that normal sleep period, when the sun goes down to when the sun comes up, you're off of the rhythm. And it's really weird. I'm like, how does that happen that way? Because I always thought it would be just natural that everybody's circadian rhythm would be their own personal rhythm. But no, it's based off of sunlight.
Light. Yeah.
Yep. And they said this is what's roughest on people who work graveyard shifts because they don't hit their cycles correctly. They're trying to force them and it doesn't work that way.
Graveyard or without windows on the workplace.
Yes. 1 o'clock in the morning, between 1 and 3. Between 1 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the morning, based on the position of sun with earth, that is the period when most people get their most rest or get their body recovered. That's when you do your healing and your growing. People even don't even realize is that like when you work out with weights, Yeah, you tear that muscle down during the day, but once you've torn that muscle down, it doesn't begin recovering and growing until the night when you're asleep. All growth occurs while you're asleep. All healing occurs while you're asleep.
I'm not growing when I'm sleeping.
No, you are tiny. You're like I'm terrified of your size breaking. Just like go, hey baby. Just like I can just see it go, hey, trying to get your attention. Hey baby, and you just hear snap. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get your attention. So, but
Yeah,
let's
you
go
would
ahead and get
run
into.
back and kill me.
Oh yeah, I'm just reminded of that Peter Griffin episode where he's laying there and he goes, Lois, and rolls out of the bed and there she is. She was under him all night, just pressed into the bed. She's like, trying to breathe. I don't know, Eastland. It's look. I always say, biology and science. You can have your theories, you can have your facts. I believe a lot of that's still theoretical when it deals with the circadian rhythms and how they work on the human body. But I do think that their science is good science on that, because it's just, you look at it and you realize, because the research that they did was that they would have people, they'd have them in sleep studies and they would have them in alternating hours, and they would find out which ones in these control group studies had the most rest and what periods of time they would do. The research is extensive. So I would say that they're on to something with that. You losing track of playing video game. Oh my God. Don't even get me started on that, dude. Oh, I'm a gaming junkie. I really am. And I got to watch it. That's why I don't play much anymore, because I remember I'd lose days to video games. I'd get on a binge and I would barely sleep. And I would just get in there just to, it's an addiction. I hate saying it, killing people. It's virtual killing. Light, but some do not have the typical rhythm. Yeah. Oh, look, there's always going to be somebody that's outside the norm. Always. That's just like what I was talking about with disease, that, with viruses and bacteria, you're always going to have 1 to 5% of all human beings that are mutants, that they won't get the disease. They'll either not get it, or they'll get it and not be affected by it, but be a carrier. It's just that simple. And this is when we were talking about the fungal thing, because fungus is something that's dangerous. It's scary. Ambient, dude, I won't even get into that, because that absolutely screws up circadian rhythms. It does. But it's essential for some people because they can't get to sleep. Not saying any names. The other pit I throw out there here is I have sleep apnea. Yeah, I have it too. I sleep with a CPAP machine. I have since 2004. Somebody says, well, what'd you lose that weight? And I'm like, I've snored like a wild animal my entire life. I've had guys wake me up in the Army going, dude, just let me get to sleep. Just let me get to sleep. I almost beat a guy over that. Like, don't you ever I don't give a shit. Fuck you. I got to sleep to your snoring, bitch. But I apparently snore like a wild animal. And it has nothing to do with my weight. It has to do with the soft palate in the back of your throat, the nasopharyngeal palate. And I said that once in front of a friend, the nasopharyngeal. And a friend of mine says, why do you have to do that? And I'm like, what? Make everybody feel stupid because you know what that thing's called. And I'm like, oh, do you want me to dumb the conversation down and make it harder on myself instead of you, to where you have to look up a word? Then I said, oh, did I make you look stupid again? It's what it's called. It's not my fault you don't know it. Same with meds. That med works opposite or not at all or different. Yeah. No, I've never smoked. Now, I like to chomp a cigar every once in a while, but you don't inhale. I would smoke a pipe and and you don't inhale it. You're not supposed to inhale it. I didn't. I don't want smoke in my lungs. I'm an asthmatic. I was born with asthma. That's right. I lied to the U.S. Army when I joined them and told them I don't recall ever having asthma. I joked, not that I recall, because you're not supposed to have asthma going to the Army. Yeah, look, I take metformin every once in a while, because as you get older, you don't produce it. And some people completely stop producing it, and it just helps us. And it'll knock me out. It'll help me not. But it's not a sleeping pill. What metformin is it tells your brain, hey, the lights are out. Time to go to sleep. So within 20 minutes of taking metformin. Yeah, what did I say? Metformin. Yeah, I'm talking about metformin is for diabetics. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Melatonin. Stop it!
Now.
I corrected myself. So yeah, I take that at night. I take 10 milligrams, but I don't do it every night. I only do it when I'm having trouble.
Yeah, I tried and it doesn't work for me, unfortunately.
Yeah. See, I was scrawny my whole life, like as a child. And then when I became a young man, I hit 16, I began weight training. So I got bulky. I wasn't overly big. I was one of those guys that clearly when you saw me, I was an athlete. And I lived that way all the way up into my 30s. And then somewhere in my 30s, the way I ate in the Army came back to haunt me. Raising Zoe is really what it was, because I was in my 30s when I started raising her. Messed me up, man. I was sedentary all the time working as an artist. And raising her, I was stressing out. So I was stress eating. And that's when I packed on some weight the first time, lost all of it. And then slowly gained it a little bit back, lost it. And then when I hit it's when my PTSD kicked in with my depression. Right around 2009, 2010, I went through a deep, dark place in my life. And man, I went up to 650 pounds. And ironically, eating Little Debbie cakes.
Oh, Gerry, we have a breach. Can I play the new video?
Again?
Yes, go for it.
We have 2 breaches now.
Yeah.
Pull your breeches up. Pull those breeches up. Yeah, go ahead. And speaking of the scene, here's that scene. What?
There are so many videos. I can't find it.
Can't you find it?
Here's your potential LZs. Marines at the embassy advise we can gain entrance through the back way.
There we go. That's the new one. And that's the scene I was talking about where he's got
Here's your potential LZs.
His hat's wrong. Also, that's a tactical command center within the ship. I don't think it's referred to as the bridge, because it's not really the bridge. That's the talk on the ship. No, it doesn't. And kids shouldn't take it. I remember my stepdaughter was wanting it. And I'm like, no, don't give her any melatonin. Little kids should not be taking melatonin. They produce all by themselves. They're having trouble sleeping. It's other stuff. It's not a lack of...
My dad gave it to me, though, when I was with him on tour in New York, and I was like 14. It didn't work.
That's too young.
It doesn't work now, so...
Look who is here.
Cancel Monkey Jeebus. Yes. Mikey is here. Morning, Mikey.
Hey, Mikey.
Hello, Mikey.
Yeah, all it does is it tells your brain. It gives your brain a signal, whether you allow your brain to listen to it or not, whether your brain listens to it or not.
Yeah, my brain is not listening.
I'm not even going to go there because you don't listen to nothing. It's like she's like a 5-year-old. What you need to do is no. What you have to do is no. She goes no. Yeah, melatonin works for me. That's all I know, and I get a really good deep sleep when I take it, and I always feel very rested when I get up. Although sometimes I feel a little doped up, and this is the weird part. Like I slept too heavy. You know, it's kind of a weird feeling. But let's get this going. I'm going to show the screen now. No audio because you don't need the audio.
Oh, are we going into the actual topic? Awesome.
So the movie opens with the Vietnam story. And we get to meet Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel L. Jackson. When the first incident, it's an important incident.
The Battle of Callao in Vietnam.
The definition, it defines their friendship. And it's the Battle of what? I'm sorry, what'd you say, hon?
The Battle of Callao.
Yeah, the Battle of Callao. And basically, you know, we meet Sam Jackson, Tommy Lee Jones, but we also meet another actor that we've seen before. I'm trying to find his name because I always forget. There is Baun Coleman, because he was also the commanding officer from We Were Soldiers, the commanding North Vietnamese officer that commanded the battle. He kills the Frenchman with a bayonet at the beginning, but then eventually becomes the supreme general of the North Vietnamese army. And he's based on a real person. And he was a tough bastard to beat in the war. But we open with them there in Vietnam. This is, by the way, I love this. And it was entertaining for Anima when she watches that. This is the German cut of the film. It's English.
It's the same one that I have.
Yeah, it's English. It's in English, but all the titles are in German.
When I rewatched it to do my notes, I was like, oh my God. Okay, so everything that's written on the screen is going to be in German. I'm watching it in English. I'm taking my notes in English.
What does that say, baby?
Then I opened IMDb on my phone to check the names and everything. And it insisted on Croatian. I'm like, fuck you. 3 languages.
Yeah. So what does that say?
Sekunden der Entscheidung. Seconds of decision.
Sekunden der Entscheidung. Okay. So there's Tommy in his boonie cap. What?
Hodges.
Hodges. Look, I'm not going to memorize the characters' names. I know the actors' names.
Notes.
And Sam Jackson. There it is again. This is one of the things that's brought up is that he's got the smoke grenade on the weapon shoulder. It should be on the opposing shoulder of his LBE. LBE stands for load-bearing equipment. Like some people like to refer to them as suspenders. And I'm like, they are not suspenders. They're not there to hold your fucking pants up. They're there for carrying equipment outside.
Not German. I'm Austrian. Why do you keep
Austria, Vienna, the Paris of Bavaria.
Fuck you, Gerry.
Austria, where that short guy with the funny mustache that called all that ruckus 80 years ago is from, or 100 years ago.
We kicked him out. Germany made him.
Now, one thing I want to point out that during Vietnam, Samuel L. Jackson was a protester in college, took people hostage in real life. He really did. Look that up. And Tommy Lee Jones was in college playing sports. He was an athlete. Neither of them served. But they do well playing soldiers in movies. What was that movie? The Hunted is another film I want to watch with Anima, where he has to hunt. He plays the senior trainer of special forces, black ops guys. And he has to hunt one of the guys he trained, played by Benicio del Toro. It's a good film. William Friedkin directed it. So, and William Friedkin directed this one, by the way. The guy who directed The Exorcist. French Connection. Same guy. So, this is Kowloon, Vietnam.
No, they need to get there.
And they're in Kowloon. And they're going to do a split up during this op. And it does a fairly good job of showing, they flip a coin of who's going to go into the swamp and which one's going to take dry land.
Yeah, the hill.
And of course, Sam Jackson, just flip it, motherfucker. I love him. I love Sam
They're
Jackson.
really good friends at that point.
The bond between these two are clear right from the get-go. Yeah. And that's essential. And James Webb did a really good job writing this story. He really did. James Webb himself, a Vietnam veteran. He wrote the first Vietnam War book I ever read. Novel I ever read. And, you get to see the typical shit that you would see, gun oil in the headband. Those headbands, by the way, back then, that was inner tube from sometimes small bicycles for kids. That's all they were. It's just a slice, and you would like split an inner tube and you spread it out between the guys. That's what I wore on my helmet when I first started. Like Allison Duty from, oh yeah.
What?
Yeah. Allison Duty is not actually German, though. She's Irish. But she did an interesting accent. She rolled her R's.
Yeah, we need to stop the derailing. Otherwise, we're not getting through the movie.
So we're in the swamp moving forward. And what's going to end up happening here is one team is in a better position, the ones who didn't go into the swamp. The ones that are in the swamp get caught in the middle of an ambush. And it's a nasty little firefight. And interestingly, you will see during this firefight, Sam Jackson struggle with shouldering his weapon because of that damn smoke grenade. And these are NVA. This is not Viet Cong that they're fighting. These are NVA. These are some tough hombres. They hated them, but guys like even my brother talked about it. They respected the NVA. These guys were tough soldiers they went up against in combat. Classic position for your combat knife, right there. It's just a good firefight. If you've never seen this film, and Sam Jackson's team captures some of the North Vietnamese, including this gentleman. That's the actor I was talking about that was in We Were Soldiers. He played the North Vietnamese general. And him and his communications officer were captured. And the other team is absolutely just getting chopped up in this battle. They're just getting blown apart. And Sam Jackson in this scene is trying to figure out what to do to get these guys out. And they're just in the worst shit right now. And so he
wants
makes
the
a
Korean guy to pull
tactical
his men off and take them north of Kowloon so they can get there.
Yeah, so he makes a tactical decision and does what's referred to as a field interrogation. Field interrogations are they're broken arrow kind of situations. They're not. This is why they're frowned upon, is because stuff like this can happen. And what he does is he threatens this commanding officer to call his men off the ambush, or he'll kill him. And he points that 1911 45 at him, but then points it at his radio guy and gives him a count. And the kid didn't make it. He kills him. And then he also gives him his word that if you call this off, I will let you go free.
And he does.
You can go. He does. He honors his word.
Yeah.
So the guy calls it off and saves Tommy Lee Jones, but pretty much everybody else was wasted.
Yeah, he's the only one
on his fire
surviving.
team. And it's a bloody mess. But he saves him. And this is our introduction to these two characters. The bond between warriors. Of course, he just set off a flare for a medevac. And
yeah, he radios him and tells him, if you're alive, send up a flare, and he does.
Yep.
But he's the only one. And also,
So-
this is where they part ways, because Childers, Jackson, stays in the active duty, and Tommy Lee Jones Hodges is
he takes a desk job.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they shot in the battle. His knee got shot.
Yep.
And that's one of my gripes with the movie, because he has a limp that comes and goes.
And goes.
Yeah.
It's like if somebody were to complain about my life as a movie, they would complain about my limp. And the fact is, I have bilateral sciatica, so I have an inconsistent limp. Sometimes it's left side, sometimes it's right side. Sometimes
you
my
don't
left
limp,
knee flares
Gerry.
up.
You waddle.
Yeah, that's when it's bilateral. It's like I limp both ways, and it just makes me look like I'm waddling, and it embarrasses me.
But by the way, his is the best busted knee ever, because he does some things that I cannot do.
I tell you now. So this is his retirement. He went into JAG Corps, Judge Advocate General. He became a lawyer in the U.S. Marine Corps, and so served his time, and now he's retiring. And
After
and the way
32 years.
he puts on his headgear here is so not a guy that's been in for 30 years. It's not how we. It's like guys who learn how to do it don't put their headgear on like this.
Why
Goes
does he
out
put
there.
it on indoors in the first place?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Why
It's
you got the
weird
cover
too.
on?
That's weird too, because you're undercover, so you don't have to put your cover on. You take your cover off. It's a good way to get your hat slapped off your head.
Unless he's carrying.
Yeah, right. Sciatica. I'm not drunk. I have sciatica.
Maybe he's carrying his sidearm.
No, she was
And that-
Austrian. Bush, as I recall, Alison Duty's character was Austrian. So, but anyway, so this is retirement, and every once in a while, I like it when watching some of these scenes, you'll see somebody go, "Hey, I know that guy," or "I know who that is," and there he is, right there. He was in that medical TBS series, something Pains. I forget what it's called, where he was a doctor for a rich resort area in New England, and it was a good show. He's a really good character on the show. Played a good character.
Royal Pains?
Royal Pains. That was it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the main character. He played the doctor. You'll just every once in a while in these films, you'll spot people that went on to have really big, good careers. There you can see him more clearly. And now, any Marines in the audience knows who that is.
Hey, sex in the house.
Hey, Kyle, what's
Hi.
up, buddy?
Hi.
So here you go. That's Chesty Puller, the most decorated Marine in the history of the Marine Corps, right there. And most people think it's a joke name, Chesty Puller, really? But yes, that was his name, most decorated Marine in the history of the Marine Corps. And so they're celebrating his retirement. That's the wrong medal right here. That's wrong. Somebody screwed up there. That's wrong. And there's Sam Jackson comes staggering in or swaggering in.
He flew halfway around the globe to be there at that celebration.
Everybody's stoked, but that's his best friend, man. Oldest friend. So Tommy
The
Lee
way
Jones'
his
character is
face
so
lights
happy.
up when he comes in, it's just.
And sometime we should talk about the Marine Corps saber and its history, because it is fascinating how they got that saber.
Well, I can.
I don't want to do it right now.
Okay.
We've got only a few minutes for our first break. And, this is a great scene. You know, basically his retirement, he's like, you know, Tommy Lee Jones in his very typical gruff Tommy Lee Jones ways, like, I'm out of here, I'm done with you, and I'm going to go fishing, fly fishing.
Yeah,
Doesn't even know if he's any good at it.
Yeah,
How he's going to discover civilian life, like find out what civilian.
But he says everything with a joke about patriotism. Like it's his duty to know how civilian lives and.
Yeah. Now, see, he's wearing his right. His is correct. His is wrong. That's interesting. They got his uniform right. Because that's one of the things that Don Shipley and I talked about is one of the ways to spot phonies is by how they wear their ribbons. Because there's a specific dress right dress way of wearing your ribbons. What's this? Dude's stream was audio and video tight. No worries on my end. What's this?
Oh, I think he's talking to somebody else.
Okay. But yeah, Veritex, Chesty Puller is something else, man. If you've never read about this guy, go read about him. Those are real celebrities, in my opinion. Real celebrities are these warriors, not some guy that played the warrior in a movie, but the actual warriors. And these are people that should be celebrated in pop culture. These guys gave the best and did the worst for this country. So this is an interesting scene. Do you remember what that was about? What they were talking about there?
The command in his.
He's bitter about being on desk duty for all these years over the flip of a coin because he got to go into the swamp and was ambushed and shot. And Childers tells him, "You would have gotten your command if that didn't happen."
And he's right because these guys are lifers. They're all core all the way, or as some would call hardcore. By the way, another one to read about. He also tells him
that he got command of the 24th Marine Expeditionary Unit, so he's off to do special ops and stuff.
Oh, Awesome One is here too, by the way. I didn't see that. So good morning, everybody. Glad everybody's here. It's a nice Monday. I'm actually in a great mood for a Monday. So what's about to happen here is they get on the ship. I forget, what ship is it?
USS Wake Island.
Wake Island. Yeah, there it is. And now we're going to see him on his mission, what he's about to go do.
They're being deployed,
They're in the toxic. Now, see that right there? That's the right Chinook. That's what a Marines would be on. That's the 46 right there.
47.
The 46. No, the 47 I think is the Army one.
Is that the Army one? Okay.
Yeah, the CH-47 is the Army, and the CH-46 it's thinner. This is more like a green bean.
Will do, Bush.
We're almost out of time. We got to get to it, and then we get into this is not the bridge. This is the Tactical Operations Center. And clearly on the left, they got a good screen there showing that this is they're heading to Yemen. So let's go ahead and pause here so we can go to commercial break. Do we have 4 minutes?
Yeah. Well,
good. Okay.
We
can get through this scene.
Oh.
So let's get he's got something wrong with the head.
Now.
And they're finding out, and this is where the backdoor joke came from, because we'll insert the Marines here, and you go in the back way. And,
they're being ordered to Yemen because the American embassy is being threatened. Like it's just protesters for now, but they need extra security, so they call it babysitting.
Right, and this is where it happens because, like, right here we have the right Chinooks, but when we cut to a different shot. That's a Marine Chinook right there. That's a Marine, Naval Marine. It could be either one. They're both departments of the U.S. Navy. And then we're in Yemen, and I feel like we need to probably let's go to break. Let's go to break now because I don't want to interrupt this scene. So go ahead, Bill. Take us to commercial break, buddy.
Hi guys, this is Gerry from Pop Culture Minefield here on KGRA, and we're leaving for our first break. I hope we survive.
A birthday without her mom, an anniversary without her husband, her wedding day without her dad. These are the days when military families feel it most of all. The loss of their soldier, their sailor, their airman, their Marine, their Coast Guardsman. Families never forget their loved ones lost to war or illness or suicide. Families never forget, and neither do we. We are TAPS, the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. We provide resources, support, and comfort to heal the hearts and meet the needs of grieving military families, all at no cost to them. Your generosity can make an enormous difference in the lives of the families of our fallen military heroes. Our military families need to know they are not alone and they are not forgotten. Show them your support at taps.org.
Facing humanity is on the verge of being settled once and for all. The Mutual UFO Network has been at the forefront of this journey for nearly 50 years. Our members worldwide are dedicated to the research, documentation, and awareness that will shape the future of humanity. Won't you join us?
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
Oh wow, we survived. Welcome back from the commercial break. Now for some more Pop Culture Minefield on KGRA. And we're back. Just to talk about it, there's a shot, and I don't know if we're going to catch it because of the way I'm forwarding through the movie. When the next time you see the Chinooks, they have a different Chinooks. They have Army Chinooks. And I'm sure that was due to budget that happened. It was all they had access to and I think it's when they land there in Yemen that they switch. Open your back door, baby. Yeah, there you go. Well, I guess you get it. There you go. All right. And by the way, thanks, Bill, for that. And I do want to remind people that this show today is brought to you by some delicious stuff called Fuel Up. And if you use the fuelup.gg/morning coffee Gerry, you can order your Fuel Up hydration system, which I'm using Wake, but they're actually going to be sending me all of their midday and evening samples, the bring me down, the calm me, relax me one.
I'd like to try that one.
I'm curious. I'm looking forward to it because all I know is Wake Up is amazing. It's really amazing, and of course, I want to say hello to our audience on KGRA. I hope everybody's having a good Monday. We are talking about the film today, a little film called Rules of Engagement, starring Samuel L. Jackson and Tommy Lee Jones. You have some other big stars in the film, too. Ann Archer, Ben Kingsley, Guy Pearce.
Dale Dye.
Dale Dye himself is in this movie. And it's so good because a lot of people have no idea that a lot of movies that they've watched where you hear military chatter over the mics and stuff, a lot of time that's Dale Dye because he's got one of the best voices for doing radio chatter.
Well, I always know because Gerry keeps pointing it out.
In fact,
this guy trained by Dale Dye. This guy trained by Dale Dye all the time.
Yeah, the infamous refrigerator scene in Indiana Jones. Yeah, the infamous scene when you hear that voice that you hear talking and giving the countdown, Dale Dye.
Oh, Jeebus, he will be. He will be on.
And that way, Del Dye. Oh yeah, we've talked to him numerous times. He is busy for a guy that should be chilling a bit. Man, he is always out working. Working on films, working on TV shows. Gerry was expounding poetic about helicopters because he went to. Now he can't get it out of his mind. No, I'm just I'm fascinated with the Jesus nut. The dancer's name was Chinook. He was Native American. My first experience with the Chinook was when I was in the second grade. They landed one in our playground at our school. I went to a lab school in Charleston, Illinois, through the university, experimental school. And we got to go on board this Chinook helicopter. It was awesome. Marines were there. Man, I wanted to be a soldier even back then. I've asked them to be on, and they've agreed to be on. It's just we're trying to work out the schedule. That's it. I have to work around their schedule. I'm in the middle of doing a book cover right now for Dale. Anyway, I just want you to stop and think about that, Monkey Jeebus. I work for Del Dye, and I never considered asking him. Think before you ask. Like I would never ask my boss. Yeah, it's just a wee laddie. So here we are at the embassy in Yemen, and we meet Ben Kingsley's character, the ambassador, and
who is a real pussy.
He really is.
Yeah.
His wife has more balls than he does.
Oh yeah, his son also.
Yeah, the kid's very brave. There is a protest outside. Some of it is protest. Some of it is beyond protest. This is the difference between the media doesn't know the difference between a mob and a protest. There's mob behavior and then there's protests.
It is a weekly thing. So once a week they come to the embassy and protest. But we learn later that there's also rumors about a terrorist attack being planned.
And this is another major character. His name is Jack. No. Toothless Jack. He's just one of the protesters. Anyway, Big Kingsley
they fly in to provide extra security, but the moment the crowd sees the helicopters, shit hits the fan.
So they're inside hiding because it's getting ugly. And
that is Plan B, evacuating the
ambassador. And this kid, it grew up to be another actor in Hollywood. I forget who it is. But he grew up and he's an actor still to this day. And here comes, that is not the same Chinook right there. That's a CH-47 right there.
That's what got me confused when I was trying to find out what helicopters they use.
And so they're packing up this stuff. They're supposed to be destroying anything they can't take with them. And the last thing they need to take is the flag. If you didn't know that, when you're bugging out of an embassy, destroy any intelligence that you can't take with you, collect any information you can take with you, and make certain to pull that flag down, because that is sovereign territory. An embassy is not just a little house in the middle of some place that's got Americans in it. It is sovereign territory in whatever country it's in. You step on that, it is just like invading the United States. And it's treated that way with great hostility. So Kingsley playing an American here. And I don't like his American accent. I can tell he's British. But still, it's a good scene. This is really one of his first big roles, this kid. I forget his name. What is his name? Cheapers. Blair Underwood. Blair Underwood. And there's another guy in this, too, that we saw previously in We Were Soldiers, playing one of the Marines. You'll see him later during the investigation process. He's out of uniform, but he's the same guy that was in We Were Soldiers that kept asking Sergeant Major, good morning. Great morning, isn't it? What are you, a goddamn weatherman? So the Marines arrive, and this is when things escalate with the protest.
Yeah, and they see
And those
from
are
the
Army.
helicopter, and they know, okay, it's not just security. This is evac. We need to.
Yeah, these are not naval or Marine helicopters. These are Army.
They look so happy.
They're fatter in their design, and the landing section, those rails on the side are different than what you see.
Not only
In
happy,
fact,
John,
you can see different markings on it too.
backdoor happy.
Backdoor happy. Did somebody do that? Somebody say backdoor happy
No,
in the chat?
no.
But somebody, yeah, Monkey did it. Go ahead and hit the one of the back doors. Go for it. Yeah, I'm in control of this video. You guys need to.
Let me do it.
Yeah. It's still a beautiful shot. It's still a beautiful shot here.
Yeah, but the moment the crowd sees
Yeah.
the helicopters,
Here.
they start.
Yeah, they begin
Here we
firing
go.
at the helicopters. Marines are already taking fire.
Yeah.
Here we go with the video.
Earth strong. I'm gonna go check the back door. Back door.
And now they're throwing fire, Molotov cocktails at the building.
And
This is
stones.
absolutely an assault on the building. This has gone from a protest to something else. And this is one of the great, and you can see snipers up here. And this is the common thing we talk about with the Middle East, that they will insert themselves into places where civilians are around them. They do this intentionally. This is not the fault of the citizens, but at the same time, the citizens should remove themselves, knowing that these guys are around them, because they're using them to use against the military if the military fires on them, because they'll hit civilians and kill civilians. And then they love to use the press to make the Americans or the Israelis or whoever it is look bad.
Yeah, but we
Good at manipulating the
we
press.
find
They're
out
really
later
good at it.
they're indoctrinated. Like, if you're a good Muslim, you go against Americans. This is why the crowd stays, because it's their duty.
And yeah, those are Army. Says Marines on the side. That is not a Marine helicopter. But this is a great scene. They deploy out quickly, get right into the embassy. And this is another one. What are these guys doing with shotguns? They are the senior Marine security officers there. They should have at least M16s. Carrying shotguns is weird. That's for close quarter combat, not for defense like this. That was another mistake that they made there. And I don't put that on Dale. Dale's job is to make sure soldiers act like soldiers. When they're moving around. Okay, there we got our first casualty. We have snipers on the roofs. Anne is such a good actor. I swear, I love her as an actor. She is so good. She was in Harrison Ford's wife in his Tom Clancy movies. She played his wife. I forget the character's name. Jack Ryan's wife. Kathy? Was that it? Kathy Ryan?
That sounds right. I'm not 100% sure, though.
Everybody else is calm on her desk, but not Ben Kingsley. He's like, get this out of here. He's in total panic mode.
He asks him, do you want to stay and keep the embassy up, or do you want to leave? And he's like, I'm leaving, I'm out here. He's totally panicking.
Soldier gave him the flashlight. I like that. I'm a soldier too.
That'll help keep him calm.
And the combat in this scene, and when they cut back to it later, is really intense stuff. So in the end, what ends up happening is you've got different points of view, which is a theme that's been used in films before. And in fact, one of my favorites was an Akira Kurosawa film where you see three different perspectives of an incident. And it's technically, it's a samurai film, but it's also a legal drama. And I forget the name of the film right now. For some reason, it just popped out of my head. But this film kind of has that too within it. And I don't think that was accidental. I think it was intentional, a nod to Kira Kurosawa. Kathy,
it was
Ryan.
Gates.
Gates McFadden played it in Hunt for Red October. Oh, I just saw it. Yeah. She played Alec Baldwin's wife, and then they recast the role for Harrison Ford for someone that looked and acted well with Ford. They were looking for someone that got along with Ford. And she absolutely worked with Harrison Ford very well. Yes, lack of knowledge breeds. Yep. So trying to get them to the helicopters. And I think one of my favorite moments here is when they're like, well, we're out of here. Thanks, man. Thanks. And he goes, oh, you can't leave. You didn't get the flag. You forgot grabbing the flag. He's like, what the? And he's like losing his mind again. And so everybody's under fire here, and under heavy fire, Jackson and one of his guys runs over and gets the flag, brings it down, and takes it to the
I love
ambassador.
it when he hands the ambassador the flag and says, like, I hope you know how to fold it. And the ambassador just looks at him like, what the fuck? Because clearly he doesn't know how.
No. I knew that ambassador was a filthy motherfucker when he says, I will never forget this.
And gives one of the worst salutes.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those awkward salutes.
Remember, ambassadors are political appointees.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I'm not talking about his courage. I'm talking about the part of, I will never forget what you did for me. And then, he totally forget.
What we've got here again, like I said, Blair Underwood's perspective, he's on the other part of the roof. What he sees is not what Sam Jackson sees. And this is what sucks. If his buddy hadn't just got wasted that was with him over there in that little section, he would have had a witness and none of this would have happened.
Yep.
The rest of the story. But he got wasted in this battle. He got killed. And so the only person with this perspective is him. And you brought up something really important for later is, was he an unreliable narrator in some of his memories? And the fact is, I tell you, no, he is not. He is, this guy is a man of clear thought, including under fire. That is what we've seen of this character.
Yeah,
and
he
recognizes, he recognizes the cold reality of what's going on. And because there's a moment in his flashback of what really happened here. And you see something, that cute, pretty little girl that got injured was also shooting up at the building, at the soldiers.
We don't see that in that moment, though.
That's later. I said that. It's later you find that out. And because when we finally reveal what he saw, it's an emotional moment.
It is.
And he tells him, open fire on the crowd. And he's like, what?
Because he only sees the snipers. He doesn't see the guns in the crowd.
He's looking at what he sees. From he can't see anybody in the crowd shooting from where he's at. And he delivers the line of the movie right here. I said, waste the motherfuckers.
Yep.
And that comes back to haunt him later, and they turn their weapons on the crowd and just start emptying into the crowd. And it's a gory scene. Hollywood gory. And by the way, that's not an M4. That's an M16 Colt Commando. That's what I carried. So Blair Underwood is just like, he's broken by what just happened because he thinks they did something wrong. But he will obey, his commanding officer.
Has to.
And it's just a slaughter. And right then and there, when they're looking down at those bodies, there's going to be repercussions, especially if you have a bureaucrat in D.C. And, guess what? Oh, there's Dale. There's my boss. We meet the bureaucrat, played by Bruce Greenwood. Great freaking actor. I love this guy. The only role I never thought he was right for, but he still did a good job, was playing the part of Pike. He was not correctly cast. He's one of the. He doesn't look like Pike. He's not reminiscent of Pike in any way. Good actor, played it well. Not Pike.
And a good voice for Batman too.
A what?
He was a good voice for Batman in the Red Hood, the animated movie.
Oh wait, no, that wasn't him.
Yeah, Bruce Greenwald.
In the story of the Red Hood.
Yeah,
I thought that was.
I was in shock too.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
So this is the National Security Advisor Sokal, and he's
a political animal.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about Marines. He doesn't care, and there's Dale getting very frustrated with him because Dale's character is now his. By the way, ribbons are correct; they're in the correct positions.
Yeah, of course.
Him and Sam Jackson,
imagine
right?
That.
You know, but Dale's frustrated by this character because he doesn't like politicians. A real Marine doesn't like politicians. Oh wait, in what one? What are we talking about? Oh, Just Cause. Yes, good film. Good film. Yeah, but in this scene, there comes a point where Dale's character is like, are we finished here, sir? Because he knows what he's going to do. He's got the tape, the videotape that shows what happened.
And he refuses to watch it.
He won't watch it. I'm not going to watch this. I don't care what it shows.
We have a situation here. That are his words. He's just like, yeah, that was just a peaceful protest, and Child was fucked up, and Perry.
This is the Marines' fault. Childress.
There have been reports of terrorist activity, and he's just ignoring it. And that's when he gets frustrated and is like, yeah, are we done here? Can I go?
By the way, I just saw Lawrence Fishburne's, and I'm friends with his son, Langston. And Lawrence, a lot of people don't know this. When he was in the movie Apocalypse Now, lied about his age. He was only 14 when he was cast to play a soldier on that boat, that fast boat. No, I'd like to do that. It's a film we should do on Saturday. That's a great film. But Bruce Greenwood here is absolutely political. There, look at that disdain on Dale's face. I like that shot. Are we
Gerry
finished
knows
here,
that
sir?
Look quite.
Oh, let me tell you something. I have twice in my career working for him. I've been working for Dale Dice since 2006.
That's right after he calls you son, isn't it?
When he says son, if he says my name, things are good. Everything's Jake. He says, now, son, I'll go, oh, shit, I fucked up. What did I do? Bruce Greenwood is a real piece of shit. And he commits a crime here.
Yeah, he hides evidence because he doesn't even want to find out
He not only hides it,
armed or not.
He burns the evidence. I can't remember if he does it here, but he burns the evidence.
No, he does it later.
A lot of my problems also with this is there's a scene during Reveille where you see people turning to salute the flag, and then they show a couple of other military personnel just walking like nothing happened. You'll spot it. It's that scene when the North Vietnamese officer is giving his testimony, he's leaving, and Sam Jackson goes out to salute him, and they salute the flag. And it's very frustrating watching personnel walking around in a movie during, Reveille. I'm sorry, Taps. I'm sorry. And this is when Sam Jackson meets with Dale, and Dale just basically informs him, because they're friendly with each other, but he also respects him. And he just tells him, you just had a shitstorm that's coming down on you.
You're facing a general court-martial.
And this ain't an if thing. This is happening. They're coming after you, all guns blazing.
Yeah.
They're going to put JAG on you. And it's the JAG officer's job to destroy you in court. And they've got a lot of evidence.
Yeah, he also asks him what really happened. And he tells him the crowd fired first. I did not commit murder. I did my job. I did
Yep.
what I had to do there. And General Perry, he wants to have his back, but he also knows they will.
There's really very little he can do, and he tells him that. He says, "There's nothing here I can do. This is out of my hands." So,
and he's devastated that he's being accused of murder.
Yep. God, this is a good scene with Dale. Dale is really good in this scene. And then we see Tommy Lee in his retirement doing some trout fishing, fly fishing. And Sam Jackson goes there to ask him a favor. Hey, motherfucker.
Yeah, because he needs a lawyer, and he wants somebody who has seen combat.
Who's not only that, but has his back. He wants somebody that's been shot at and knows what it's like to be under fire. But he also wants somebody he knows that's got his six.
And also Hodges owes him.
Yeah, he throws that in his face, and you owe me. And here, Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce is really good in this role. And once again, he nails the New York accent. He is really good when he does his American accents, Guy Pearce. Him and I not so much when they did what was that movie? LA Confidential. Your two main characters are Australian, playing Americans. But Guy Pearce's American is much better than Gladiator. I can't remember his name right now.
Russell Crowe.
So right there, honey, there you go. That's a 4-star general right there.
So here we meet Major Biggs, who is going to be the prosecutor of the court-martial. And they should talk about.
And he says, "I am not going to, try
I'm
a
working with
Marine."
some good evidence only.
Yeah, but they want him to go for to have him executed.
For death penalty, yeah. And he's like,
death
no,
penalty.
I'm
not going to do that. I won't do that. Not for a Marine like him. No.
Yeah, what I liked about his character was the way he portrays, because his mannerism are the ones of a lazy person, but the guy is principled.
He's very principled. He's brutal. And then, of course, we get a moment here at the wall and a flashback. And remembering all those guys that died under his command. You see that? Grenade on the wrong side. It's really, really noticeable.
He lives to live dangerously.
And this is when we meet his family, Tommy Lee Jones' family. That's his father.
It's his parents' anniversary party.
Yep.
And we also find out that his son is really critical of the military. He didn't serve.
Yeah. He's another actor who went on to have a good career, is Nicky Katt. And their dad is played by Philip Baker Hall, one of the greatest modern character actors. Absolutely, just an amazing actor. I don't know who this woman is, but I know her from something. I've seen her in other stuff. I'm going to go see if I can find her real quick. Yeah, she's not listed, but I've seen her in some other stuff. Is that it? Helen Manning. Yeah, that's Helen Manning. Helen Manning.
We have to accelerate the pace, my friend.
And there he is. This dude is a great freaking actor. God, he did that one movie about gambling, directed by the same guy who did Boogie Nights and all that. Same director. What a great film. But anyway, so we meet them. We meet his son. And immediately they've already prejudged the Samuel L. Jackson character.
Well, his son has, definitely. And his father asks him not to take the case.
Because he could hurt him.
Yeah. And he also tells him, he could have snapped. I've seen that happen. Because he was also in the military, of course.
Yep.
So he tries to talk him out of it.
Great father-son scene here. I love this one. How many times I was under a hood with my dad, working on a car, driving him crazy, because anytime I got oil on my hands or any fluid on my hands from the vehicle, I'd leave and go wash my hands because I'm OCD. Drove him crazy. the hell, boy? And I'm like, I can't help it. It's gross. Yeah, and I used to say that too. It's like, you think you scare me? I held a flashlight for my dad when he worked on a car. You got nothing that scares me. And this scene is really threw me for a loop too. This would never happen this way. This conference would not take place in a busy gym. It would take place in a very private room.
Yeah, because they are going over the evidence that they have, and it's not looking good. And
yeah,
they want him to do another psych eval, and he's not having it. So
the legal consult would never take place in a working gym with people around working out that could hear anything they're talking about. That's why. What they're discussing here is not to be discussed in front of anybody. And they're in a gym with, I always thought that was a dumb scene. The way they laid it out. This needed to be an intimate room with them just talking, nobody else around. And here's the other problem they have is that Tommy Lee Jones needs to go. He wants to see the location. They tell him, no, we've got all the evidence here.
Well, he's been through all the evidence, and there's nothing that shows what he says is true. Because
this is the scene. This is the scene where the guy says death penalty, and he goes, I will not go for the death penalty on a Marine like this.
And he's not having it, yeah.
Yeah, the politicians want him to be turned into an example. Exactly. And, of course, the photos are damning as hell. My God, that looks like Virginia.
Is, all the witnesses are dead. All the people who saw what he saw are dead.
Right. And so here we see him get pissed at one of the protesters. Like, I will fuck you up.
Guys, he spat on his uniform.
I know.
Spat on him. And he's like, what gives you the right to spit on this uniform? So.
It's, and this is something Webb has been critical of. Webb is a liberal, and I'm very fine with him. I like Webb. He's dead now. I think he passed away, James Webb. But Webb was a Marine, served in combat. He wrote that scene I told you about, Anima. Took place in real life. He described a real incident where a second lieutenant threw a grenade into a hut and then laid his back against the wall of a grass hut. Of course he got killed. That's one of those stupid deaths. This is the consult between defense and prosecution.
Biggs wants him to plead guilty and go to jail. Take the easy route.
Give him this is the easy way. This is the way we should go. No fuss, no muss. But Tommy's like, nope.
He isn't really having it, yeah. And then Biggs asks him what really happened in Kalu because he knows something happened there.
Yep, and it's gonna come back to haunt both of them later.
He is going to dig that up.
Any scene with Dale Dye is a good scene. This guy is amazing. I'm so blessed to have him as my boss. I swear to God. So he goes in there and he finds Jackson he's a wreck. He's been drinking, drunk, on the floor.
And he makes him promise not to do anything stupid because the scene with Dale Dye, he asked Perry for more time because he needs to go to Yemen.
And they're telling him not to go because we have all the evidence here, but he goes, no, I've got to go. I got to get my boots on the ground and go to Yemen and see for myself. And it's rough on him. It really is rough on him because the evidence really is there that he committed a war crime. It really is there. And there he is. There's the kid that was in We Were Soldiers.
Something important.
And Saving Private Ryan.
Gerry, you skipped over that. He tells Childers about the offer. Like, plead guilty, go in for 15 years, you be out after 7. And Childers tells him no, because if they do that to me, they can do it to everybody. And also, if they do it to me and go through it, then I'm guilty for everything I've been doing in the past 30 years.
Now, one of the first things you notice, of course, not just the camera positions, but the large bore holes in the wall. These are not from small caliber weapons. These are from a larger caliber, like 7.62 NATO round. And it draws his attention when he sees those. He sees the cameras, so he knows everything was caught on camera.
Oh, and you jumped over the funny scene with the officer that he meets. And
Well, no, I didn't jump over it. I'm trying to move ahead. We have half an hour.
It's just so funny when he says, "Yeah, no uniform, no salute," because there's snipers on the roofs. But on the inside,
and then we get the recordings. Then we get the recordings. I'm trying to point out the obvious things here. He goes up to the roof and sees his own perspective from the locations. And he sees he goes right where the camera is, and he can see where every single sniper was, but knows that this camera absolutely gathered video of what happened.
And it's not destroyed. So
and now he goes to the position of where Sam Jackson was.
And that is why he wanted him, because he's seen combat.
And there's the girl. There's the little girl. He sees her, lost her leg, and goes to follow her. And ends up in the hospital, where he is told by the doctor of this nightmare story of what happened there. This was a peaceful protest, blah, blah, blah.
Well, this is the locals telling him that the Marines fired first, and he's not believing that. Because he
Marines
knows
don't fire first.
No, he knows.
And there's the cassette with the telling people to take arms.
One. The third cassette that he has found.
And here they are attacking him. That's a stressful scene. That was a stressful scene to get away from him, because there's a really good chance the mob could have killed him.
Oh, Bush. Oh, Bush.
What's a cassette? There he sees the little girl again, and he follows her this time. And she goes to that hospital, and that's when he meets the doctor, who gives him his version of the story. And I don't know if the doctor's really lying. I don't know if he's lying, but it's about perspective.
Yeah.
This movie is about perspective. And not everybody sees what's happening. And he's seeing the aftermath of these kids and stuff, and it's breaking him down.
Yeah, but he also knows that terrorists use civilians.
Yep.
As a cover-up.
So he goes back to a dream of North Vietnam. And which scene sucks?
I think the one with
the doctor.
Kids. Yeah.
It sucks, but at the same time, that's part of the reality of the moment. So now he's drunk. He got drunk on the flight. He shows up at Sam Jackson and just is like, "You're guilty as sin, you mother." And they end up in a freaking fist fight, man. It's a great scene. Sam Jackson kind of beats the shit out of him. Then Tommy Lee Jones gets some fucking punches in. And it ends up with them kind of laying on the ground, bloody.
We're too old for this shit.
We're too old for this shit, laughing about it. But he's like, "I don't know how to defend you. You know, I'm not right for this job." And it's they're both worn out. I tell people, man, when you've been in a fight, you think you're going to be all energized until you get hit.
Yep.
And getting hit takes a lot of energy out of you just to get up again. And you get worn out. If you get hit, man, a lot of energy gets tapped every time you get knocked. Every single time. But this is another heartfelt moment, because you see Tommy's, "I'm not sure I'm the right person for this job, and I'm not totally sure I believe you." Even though he does. He wants to believe him.
And here is the moment
we finally see the video.
Yeah.
And we know that Bruce Greenwood is a villain.
Finally watching it, and then he burns it.
He throws it in the fire, and no one will ever see this tape.
Which is stupid, by the way.
Because, and then he threatens Ben Kingsley's character. Because he was going to, if he had gone to court at this point, before meeting with Bruce Greenwood, he would have absolutely told the truth. But Bruce Greenwood bullies him here. Because he's a bully. A political bully. Like, I'm going to say the name, Hillary Clinton. Notorious political bully. I guarantee you there's been moments like this. The next movie, one of the next movies that Anima's going to watch with me is 13 Hours, which talks about that incident.
Well, for next week, I have to watch Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, we're going to watch Full Metal Jacket for next week. And that's going to be fun. I'm going to show you the redux, the redo. And here he throws it into the fire.
Well,
he's destroying evidence that is absolutely a crime, punishable by prison, not like, a little bit, like a lot of prison. And this is when the movie kicks into gear as a legal drama. This is a courtroom drama now. This movie has it all. It really does. I love that about this film. And Tommy Lee Jones, the writing of this character and the way he delivers these scenes. There's a couple of moments where I was kind of annoyed, like where he actually just says something and then repeats it as if that's supposed to matter, but he should have said something else. But it's still, some of the dialogue in this is some of the best military legal dialogue I've seen. And I like A Few Good Men, even though I have a problem with A Few Good Men, because it's very anti-soldier. The movie is made by leftists who hate the military. So, but here he is, he's making his case that he was guilty. These bodies are here. They're not armed. There were no guns found on them. And of course, with no video to prove otherwise.
Yeah, but the thing is, the FBI got there like 1 day after that happened. So there was plenty of time.
Oh, yeah, for them to police the guns.
Yeah.
And of course, they're going to police their own guns.
Of course.
Because they need them.
And Hodges points that out, but nobody hears him.
And these are, of course, it's like a tribunal. It's less of a jury. It's more of a tribunal where these senior officers are called. And I'm looking, and all their badges are correct on their medals, their ribbons. It's just Tommy Lee Jones that had his wrong during his retirement. And the first witness, of course, is the ambassador. And it's damning. And she knows the truth, but she won't say anything.
Well, the ambassador sort of weasels out because he's like, yeah, I was in the helicopter. I wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, and it really, Jones turns and looks at Ann Archer and sees she knows something and is not happy over this testimonial. And all these scenes are really good. And he points out, where's the video for this? And he absolutely borderline when he gets Bruce Greenwood on. He risks his own retirement from the military to go after a politician. And this is when he goes to Ann Archer's house because he saw the look on her face during her husband's testimony. That kid likes Marines. He's got his ribbons wrong. It just drives me crazy every time I see it.
How could that happen?
I don't know.
How did nobody notice that?
It's the one ribbon, and it's just anyway. We can talk about it later. Ann Archer is such a good actor. And she's basically says, I'm a very credible witness. You don't want to get me up there. I will defend my husband. and he realizes that he knows now there's a cover-up. Because of what she says here, he knows there's a cover-up. And he's got to figure out what it is. And she's not going to be the one that saved the day, but she's the one who let him know right here that they're lying by saying what she says.
Lying and hiding evidence. Because he knows something's missing.
This is a tough scene because Underwood is so torn doing this scene because he believes his commanding officer. He believes him that he didn't see something, but it had to have happened. Otherwise, he would not have ordered me to fire on them. And so he is torn having to do this. But it's like I said, just tell the truth as you know it. That's all you got to do. You know, whatever side of the wall it falls on doesn't matter. Tell the truth. You know, how they use that truth, it's not your fault. It's not your problem. But Underwood did a great job in this scene. And, and Sam Jackson's character is proud of him. And Tommy Lee Jones does some really good, counter questions in this scene. Anything you guys want to point out in this scene?
It's just probably one of the better military courtroom scenes there is.
It really is. Now, this is when they have the doctor on the stand. And his testimony, and of course, he makes it sound like they weren't armed. There was no armed people in the crowd. But I don't think he's lying. I think that from his perspective, he really believes that. Yeah. But he brings up something about those tape recordings. And this is something that the doctor can't deny. That
also,
those
the
recordings
doctor knows about the terrorists and how they operate. He just really wants to believe it was a peaceful protest.
Yep. And so he brings this out in the testimony from the doctor that basically says, yeah, I know this happens. Yes, those tape recordings were played that morning by multiple people. And yeah, there were people there that were radicalized. So basically, he shuts down the prosecution on their questioning of this guy. Because they just wanted...
He has him translate an audio.
Oh, yeah, he translates the audio recording. That's right.
Yeah.
Take up arms. You'll be rewarded.
Kill Americans if you're a true Muslim. So, yeah, that's absolutely terrorist activity.
And here we go. This is one of the big moments in the film, is Bruce Greenwood has to testify. And Bruce Greenwood is a political animal. And Tommy Lee Jones knows... Just like it's very similar to how in A Few Good Men that Tom Cruise knows that he's got this guy on the stand and it's his one chance with Nicholson's character. It's sort of the same thing here because Jones knows he's the one who did it. He knows he's the one who destroyed this evidence or has it hidden. Because I don't think he thinks it's destroyed at this point. I think he believes it's out there and it's hidden. But it doesn't exist anymore because he destroyed it. So he goes after him, and he gets warning after warning in this scene when he questions him that you're teetering on disaster going after him like this, questioning a member of command. Because as the Secretary of State, as I recall, he's Secretary of State, right? He's part of command of the military. Even though he doesn't hold an officer role.
He's the National Security Advisor.
That's it, NSA. Is that it? Yeah. And this is what Don and I have talked about. People that are the advisors or work within the NSA are not good guys.
Well, that one is definitely.
And look at that face right there. That expression.
Smug asshole.
Yeah. You're not going to get anything from me. Oh, my God. And he's really tearing him apart about this freaking video. Where's the video? And he goes, I'm not aware of there ever being a video. Oh, lie number one.
Mm-hmm.
He knows he's got him here because then he pulls out a manifest that shows that it was delivered.
Yep.
Where'd it go? And this is
now
where
he has him by the balls.
And this is where the judge, the JAG officer, warns him. You're stepping into some dangerous territory here. And Tommy Lee Jones is a bulldog, man. He's a bulldog. I mean, he really is kind of a bulldog, a pit bull, the English bulldog.
There. Man, I fold this movie in edition because you can see how he knows in that very moment that
he knows Bruce Greenwood did something.
Yeah. He said they played me. But they don't go any further with that. And I think that is material lost in the editing room.
Yep. He is so beat up from the fight between him and Tommy Lee Jones. He's got a good salute. That's not a bad salute.
That's a little off.
What is? It is. It's doing this thing. It should always be thumb here, thumb against the hand.
The one you see from behind is good. This one is so.
That's a little curved.
Flashback.
Memories.
Brian.
Hey, Brian's here.
Good morning, Brian.
Brian, I need to talk to you today as soon as possible.
Hey, Brian.
I need you to get me a new photo because we need to move forward with your image. Also, we got to get your show prep for tomorrow. And there we start to see what he sees, and he yells, "The waste motherfucker." Now he's on the stand.
We see even more guns than in the scene where he finally watches the video. And that's where I was beginning to doubt, is he an unreliable?
No, the one thing you have to trust is that he has been established to be a reliable narrator.
Yeah.
And so therefore you have to trust his memory. If they would have established early if he was unreliable, they would have.
Yeah, it's just when in his flashback we see the girl firing a gun, I was like, is he seeing more guns than they actually were?
I don't think so. I don't think they would show that. They would not show that. And really, this is a great scene.
His speech is so good.
Oh, hello.
What the heck?
And of course, this is where he tries to corner him. What did you say exactly? What was the command you gave? And Sam Jackson begins to lose his cool on the stand, which is what he wants. He wants to show that he's a hothead. That is very true. But I will tell you something about the UCMJ, man. The military owns your ass. And even with a civilian lawyer, a lot of soldiers know that they're screwed. Because no matter what they do, the military owns you. And they kind of tell you that with the UCMJ when they explain it to you. And when I was in the Army, they explained it to us that whatever wasn't covered in the first 9 is covered in the 10th. Basically everything. That if you screw up here, we will have you. And so we're warned, don't screw up. A lot of intensity. William Friedkin really does such a great job with the close-up direction in these scenes. And all these intense moments, the photos and the tilted angle. See the angle there? It's almost like Batman from the 60s. Tilted angle. I was itching in areas. He's losing his shit here. You goddamn right. I ordered a code red. That's what the scene reminds me of. Yeah. I said, waste the motherfuckers. I do it again.
This is where he brings up Kalu, right? And what he did
No,
back then.
after that.
Yeah, because this is not good, and he's trying to say that this isn't part of this case. And he says, I want to show something that's consistent with character, the character of the witness and the character of the defendant. So this is going to get rough on him because now he knows that guy is coming, that Vietnamese general.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying general because of the other movie. I think he's only a major.
Colonel.
Was it a colonel? Colonel.
Yeah, colonel.
And here they approach the bench and make requests. The judge tells them to proceed. And so now they're going to move forward with this case and bring him in there to tell what happened in Vietnam, where this all comes full circle for these two men.
Yeah, but Hodges asks him if the roles were reversed.
Well, that's after he does this, because when the prosecution goes through its questions, it's damning. But then Tommy Lee Jones gets up and asks him, if the roles were reversed, would you have done the same thing?
And he says yes. He hesitates, but then he says yes, absolutely. Because it's what you have to do.
And I have a question. Did what he did make you stop the ambush? Yes, it did. Did it save American lives? Yes, it did. It's a very important scene. And I do like that after the scene takes place, and Sam Jackson's character looks broken, but here his son actually takes sides with him. He's like, I'm proud of you, what you're doing. I do like that they came and watched him. This is a trial of a lifetime, something like this, and it's just a blip on people's news feed. But in reality, something like this happening is a huge moment. It sets a precedent. And he's making his final arguments. Now, defense gets to make their final argument summation. And he's explaining all the things that don't make sense. What's physically there shows that clearly there was fire from the ground and not just from the buildings.
Yes.
And his summation here is really one of the best legal moments.
That speech is amazing.
And it's sort of that if they can do this to him, they can do this to you. They could do this to anybody.
It's what he tells his dad. When his dad wants him to not take the case, he's like, if they do this to him, then they can come after you as well. And all your medals are worth shit.
We have 5 minutes.
And look at the way they're looking at him. So we get this moment, and his family's proud of him. Bruce Greenwood look, this guy's career is about over. He doesn't know it yet, but this is where he comes in and he says, "Are you threatening me?" He goes, Oh, yes. Because he says, "Have you ever had a pissed off Marine
yeah.
on your ass?" And he goes, "Are you threatening me?" He goes, "Oh, yes, I'm threatening you."
I love that scene. So good.
And so we get there, and this is a great scene. The final moments. He's found guilty of one charge of conduct unbecoming, I think it was.
No, breaking the peace.
Oh, breaching the peace. That's right, breaching the peace, and everything else not guilty. Dale's been in the. You didn't notice him. He's back behind him the whole time during the whole court case. Dale was in the scenes. They win, and now he asks the question. It's not true. It's not true about how long a second lieutenant's life expectancy in an LZ. He says, 16 seconds. It's not true.
Yeah, no, 16
minutes.
It's just not true. But we see him walk out, and he sees that officer. They have this great moment. They salute each other. And he salutes him back.
They respect each other.
And then in German, we find out I had to learn German just to know how this movie ended.
I had subtitles, so
that Bruce Greenwood's character was forced to
So who
resign.
was found guilty for
destroying evidence.
destroying evidence. That's what I was looking for.
And the ambassador was given. He was fired from the.
Yeah, well, he was a bad ambassador to begin with.
Yeah, politically appointed, right? But this was a great film. It's one of my favorite war films, even though it's not a war film. The War on Terror is a real thing, so it technically is a war film dealing with that because we've been at war with extremism in the Middle East since the early 1800s. A lot of people don't know that. With Tripoli.
Yeah, but it's the
it's
same.
the first battle that the Marines.
Right?
It's the first battle, not only fought by the Marines offshore. It's the first battle where we left the United States and went somewhere else to fight. Is Tripoli, where we took on the Barbary pirates that used their rights over ours. They had more rights than us, and
that's the story of the sword.
Britain said, "Good, go ahead, hurt the Americans. We're cool with that." But Just Cause would be on a Saturday. Get with me, Bush, on through Twitter. But we're out of time here. I want to say thanks to everybody: Andy Morrow, Bush McFadden, Alex Moore, Monka Jibes, The Dork Knight, Glenn Fleming, Master Shadow Dragon, Veritax, Eastland Burkholder, Awesome One, Mexican Iron Man, my good friend Mikey, Zax, a.k.a. Kyle, Keely Chow, Penny, Dork Knight's mom, 70s rock fan, Brian, and I want to thank all y'all for being here and taking part in this. It's a great film. Hope if you haven't seen it, go watch this movie. It's well worth it. Thank you, Anima. Thank you, Martin. And thank you, John, for being here. Everybody, have a great Monday, man.